In this video, we will explain absolutely everything you need to know to travel to Salvador, the Black Rome, and the cultural heart of Brazil. This is the definitive guide and the most complete video you will watch today about the first capital of the country, the place where colonial history mixes with the energy of axe music and the orishas, where the cuisine has the striking flavor of palm oil, and where the sunset at the Bay of All Saints is an unforgettable spectacle. We will cover everything from the logistics of how to get from the airport to the center, which is the best neighborhood to enjoy the nightlife safely, and how to visit the Pelourinho and the Bonfim Church without falling into tourist traps. We will also tell you about the vital requirement of travel insurance and how to taste the authentic acarajé from the Bahian women. So let us get started. Salvador is a city that vibrates differently. It overflows with musicality, colors, and a lot of faith. It is a destination where you feel the living history in the cobblestone streets, in the capoeira, circles in the squares, and in the contagious and unparalleled joy of the Bahian people. It is a city that embraces those who arrive. Now let us move on to logistics and planning. What is the best time to visit Salvador? The best time is from September to March. In these months, the sun shines bright, the sea turns a spectacular emerald green, and the city begins to pulse with the summer rehearsals of the axe bands and afro blocks. Summer in December, January and February is the peak of popular and religious festivals such as the washing of the steps of Bonfim and the festival of Yamanja. The city boils with joy and heat, but the beaches get crowded and prices skyrocket, especially during Carnival. The rainy season runs from April to July. It can rain a lot, and the days become grayer, which disrupts boat trips to the islands and beach time. If your focus is constant sunshine, avoid these months. And how many days to stay? Salvador has a lot of history and a giant coastline. To see the basics like the Pelourinho Barra and eat in Rio Vermelho, 4 full days are enough. But to take speedboat tours through the islands of the bay or a day trip to the north coast, calmly the ideal is 6 to 7 full days. Now let us talk about transportation and how to get around. To arrive, you will land at the Luis Eduardo Magalhães International Airport. It is a bit far from the main tourist area, about 40 to 50 minutes by car from the downtown beaches. To leave the airport, Uber works very well and is the most comfortable option. There is also a modern subway line that connects the airport to the city center. But for those traveling with a lot of luggage, a door-to-door app car is more practical. To get around the city, the rule is to use Uber all the time. The traffic in Salvador can be intense, and parking near the historic attractions is difficult and expensive. We do not recommend renting a car if you are only staying within Salvador. Renting a car is only worth it if you are extending your trip to the north coast, such as Praia do Forte or Costa do Sauípe, to have freedom on the road. Staying in a good region will define the style of your trip. The first option, and our favorite, is Rio Vermelho. It is the bohemian neighborhood where the most famous acarajés, great restaurants, and the best nightlife are located. You can do a lot on foot at night safely and experience the modern essence of the city. The second option is Barra. Staying near the lighthouse and Porto de Barra beach is excellent for the day, as you have the best urban beach in the city just steps away and a stunning sunset. It is a great area for daytime walks. The third option is Santo Antonio Além do Carmo. It is the continuation of the Pelourinho, a historic neighborhood that is very trendy. It is full of charming inns installed in colonial mansions and bars overlooking the bay. It is perfect for couples but requires taking transport to go swimming at the beach. The fourth option is Stella Maris and Flamengo. They are neighborhoods further away, very close to the airport. The beaches there are excellent for swimming, and the hotels have a resort style. The problem is that you will be very far from the historic center and the nightlife, wasting a lot of time in traffic. We created this personalized map that explains exactly which is the best region to stay. Staying in Rio Vermelho or Barra, you cannot go wrong. We will leave here on the screen QR code and in the video description the link to this exclusive map. We created them on the hotel site we always use, as it always has the best prices and reliable options. We will also leave links to the hotels we have already stayed at and approved. In all destinations, we always recommend one that is very cheap and super well located for those who want to save money, and another that is a little better in the same location, but a little more expensive with more comfort. These are great options tested by us. An important tip to save on accommodation is the advanced strategy. Salvador is one of the most sought-after destinations in Brazil during the summer and carnival. Good and well-located hotels sell out very fast. That is why we really like using this site we indicated. In addition to having the lowest prices, it has free cancellation with almost all hotels. You can book as soon as possible to guarantee a much lower price, and if you need to cancel later due to any change of plans, it is super easy and at no cost. And remembering that in this link below, we always organize everything you need to set up your entire trip for the lowest price on a single page. The sites we use to build our trips, and that have everything much cheaper, such as car rental with discount national travel insurance that covers lost luggage, catamaran tours, good and cheap hotels we have already stayed at. Save this page in your favorites. Now let us get to the main attractions with details you cannot miss. Attraction number 1 is the Pelourinho and the Historic Center. Walk along the cobblestone slopes surrounded by wonderful, colorful mansions. Visit the Church and Convent of San Francisco, known worldwide as the Church of Gold, because its interior is entirely covered with tons of gold. It is jaw-dropping. Then go down the Lacerda elevator, the first urban elevator in the world which connects the upper city to the lower city and costs only a few cents per trip. The view from up there to the sea is an icon of Brazil. Attraction number 2 is the Church of Senhor do Bonfim. It is located in the lower city and is the greatest symbol of the mixture of Catholic faith and religions of African origin. Buy the colorful Bonfim ribbons from local vendors, tie them to the gates of the church, make your 3 wishes, and take that classic photo everyone wants to have. Attraction number 3 is Ponta de Humeta. It is very close to the Bonfim Church. It is a complex with a very charming white lighthouse, a monastery, and a pier. The sunset view from there is one of the most romantic, photogenic, and peaceful in all of Salvador. Attraction number 4 is the Barra Lighthouse and Porto da Barra Beach. Porto da Barra is a small beach with extremely calm waters that looks like a natural pool ideal for swimming. In the late afternoon, the sacred ritual is to go to the lawn behind the Barra Lighthouse to watch the sun hide in the ocean. The visual is a daily spectacle. Attraction number 5 is the Rio Vermelho neighborhood in the late afternoon. Get to know the House of Yamanja, a small sanctuary on the edge of the beach where fishermen leave offerings. Walk along the waterfront and choose one of the classic stalls to have dinner in one of the squares. Attraction number 6 is the boat tour through the Bay of All Saints. Hire a schooner or a private speedboat tour to visit the island of the Friars Ilha dos Frades, which has the blue flag seal for clean sea and impeccable infrastructure, and then stop by Itaparica Island. It is a full day in the warm blue sea of Bahia. Attraction number 7 is the Mercado Modelo. It is right in front of the exit of the Lacerda elevator in the lower city. It is an old customs building that today houses the largest craft center in Bahia, perfect for diving into local culture and buying everything. An important tip that will save you time and money is to book the schooner tours to the islands and transfers to the north coast in advance. Leaving it to buy on the street from middlemen can be more expensive and risky. We will leave in the screen QR code and in the description the link to the site where we book our tours with safety and guarantee. Now let us move on to gastronomy. In Salvador, you taste the true roots of Bahian food. The mandatory street food is acarajé. It is a black-eyed pea fritter fried in boiling palm oil, generously filled with vatapa caruru salad and dried shrimp. The most disputed and famous ones are the acarajé from Dinha and from Sira, which are located in the squares of Rio Vermelho. An important detail: ask for it with pepper, only if you can handle real heat, because Bahian pepper is very strong. For a complete meal, the Bahian moqueca is the great queen. Unlike fish stews from other regions, the Bahian version uses palm oil and fresh coconut milk, accompanied by pirao and cassava flour. The Casa de Teresa restaurant in Rio Vermelho or the Yamanja restaurant on the Armacao waterfront are absolute and unmissable classics. For dessert, eat a black or white cocada coconut candy, which is sold on traditional trays by Bahian women in the streets of the Pelourinho. Quick and in-depth shopping tips. The Mercado Modelo is the unbeatable and most practical place to buy Bonfim ribbons, in bulk capoeira, musical instruments like the berimbau, light clothing, and souvenirs. Bargaining is part of the tradition there. For those who want a deep and unfiltered immersion in African culture and roots, the São Joaquim Fair is a giant labyrinth. Everything is sold there: spices, fresh fruits, clay ceramics, and religious items. Go prepared for a very rustic, intense, and authentic environment. What to do at night? The night in Salvador pulses wonderfully well in Rio Vermelho. Largo de Santana and Largo de Mariquita are packed with sidewalk tables, cold bottled beer, and a lot of live music in the surrounding bars. If it is a Tuesday, the unmissable event is the Tuesday of Blessing in the Pelourinho. After Mass, the historic slopes fill with people, and the drums of the Oladim band echo strongly through the old mansions. The energy gives you goosebumps. For a late afternoon that turns into night with a lot of refinement and charm, the sidewalk bars in Santo Antonio, Alem do Carmo, like Bar de Cruz, offer cold drinks and a spectacular and panoramic view of the illuminated bay. And if you are traveling with kids, Salvador is very friendly for the little ones. Porto de Barra Beach is the best choice because it has no waves, the water is crystal clear and very warm, forming a large safe pool. The Tamar project, located in Praia do Forte, just an hour drive away, is a wonderful day trip where children can see giant sea turtles very closely and learn about biology. Mandatory documentation and safety. Documentation. Valid passport for international tourists. Safety is the point of greatest attention in the Bahian capital. Salvador requires you to be smart and act with caution. In the Pelourinho and the historic center, Always walk on the main streets, which are very well policed, and avoid empty and narrow alleys. Never parade with your cell phone in your hand in a distracted way. Use it with discretion. At night, avoid walking long distances in any neighborhood. Call an Uber to go from door to door. Travel insurance. It is highly recommended to get travel insurance for Brazil, as it covers lost luggage and emergency health problems in case your national health plan does not have coverage in clinics and hospitals in Bahia. The comparator with a discount is in the description link. And to combine your trip, Salvador is the perfect gateway to several Bahian paradises. You can rent a car and drive up the north coast along the beautiful coconut road Estrada do Coco until you reach Praia do Forte and Embaçai. Another incredible option is to take a catamaran at the maritime terminal in front of the Mercado Modelo and sail for about 2.5 hours to Morro de São Paulo, a car-free island with charming hills and breathtaking beaches. And for the more adventurous, a short flight or an overnight bus trip takes you straight to Chapada Diamantina, which is the heart of grandiose waterfalls, blue caves, and breathtaking trails in the interior of the state. If you liked this complete and deep guide about Salvador, like the video, and subscribe to our channel to travel more and better around the world. Thank you very much and have a safe trip.